Gal, welcome back to the show. How must you be feeling right now? That was exhilarating at the end.
Mate, I'm going to be shameless. I'm going to celebrate a win. It doesn't matter if it's against Sheffield United. We're in the semi-final. We're in the, what is it, semi-final now? Yeah, we're in the final four of the FA Cup. Ceballos' goal at the end, I was jumping out of my seat. But at the same time, I can be critical and be excited at the same time. They let McGoldrick, the worst player on the pitch, spin and do Cruyff turns around them and score a goal. The guy hasn't scored all season. That's the only thing I'm going to say critical. I'm going to leave it at that. Come on, we got to do better at set pieces. But Hale End, stand up. The academy, stand up. Terry, put respect on our academy. People talk about Chelsea. People talk about Man United. People talk about all these other players. We have 5 academy players who've played out of their very well for us this season. We have Eddie Nketiah, who scored away goals. Lacazette hasn't. We have Saka, who's been a revelation over the past 2 seasons. Willock has shown he is a presence in the midfield. He has 5 goals. Only midfielder that has more than 2 goals in our club. He has more goals than all our midfielders combined, and he has only 5. I can keep going on, but I'll tell you this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And guys, give Arteta a chance. Give him a chance. Let him get his signings. Let him do what he needs to do, because what we've seen today is without Aubameyang playing, we can still survive. If we get a 35 mil offer for Aubameyang, I'll bite your hand off. I'll take it, because I want the club to reinvest in the midfield and reinvest in the defense, and our attack, we can score goals. We need to fix the midfield, and then we'll score even more goals.
Yeah. What I saw today was interesting. So the formation that Arsenal played, the 3-4-3, it worked because I saw when you were out of possession, Saka and Pepe, that were your wide players, they dropped into central roles, and you packed the midfield because it isn't strong enough to run with 2, even 3 at times. So you stuck 4 men in the middle. You had your fullbacks your wing backs that then became fullbacks in defensive phases of play. But Aubameyang not playing, I thought you had more balance, not because Aubameyang's poor, but Aubameyang wasn't being asked to play on the left-hand side. Aubameyang couldn't have played Saka's role today because you wouldn't want him running into a midfield central position. And this is the thing, Sir Alf Ramsey said this about England. He doesn't pick the best players, he picks the best team. And that's what's imperative, getting balance. And balance is so important for a team to function. Now, there's 5 or 6, 7 Arsenal players you'd love to take out and replace them with higher quality. But if you get the right balance right, you can hold like you should still be beating teams like Sheffield United, teams like Brighton, teams like Southampton, because you've got the superior play. If you went through every team that's below you and maybe 2 or 3 above you in the league, there aren't very many players from those squads that you'd pick to come make Arsenal better. So it becomes about balance. And I think when you play Saka on the right, Aubameyang on the left, and then Nketiah in the middle, 4 at the back, and then you have Guendouzi and Xhaka trying to hold a midfield, it's weak for me. You just look at it as an imbalance, and then you're exposing the weaknesses. And I think Arteta got that right today. And that's where he needs time. He needs time to experiment in those situations as an example and find what works for him without the fans on his back the whole time.
Terry, I don't want to hear Xhaka slander anymore, because we've seen the game that he didn't play against Brighton. We've seen how much we missed him. We've seen that during Arteta's reign, he's played 90 minutes, I think 10 times, and all 10 of those games, we did not lose any of those games. And the 3 games that he did not play 1 minute, we lost all 3. So when I hear Granit Xhaka slander from certain fans, you have to understand that this guy is not only our best midfielder, but he could be our version of Jordan Henderson, where we slander him now, and in a couple years' time, if he's still here and we get to the top, he'll be that guy where we say, "Oh my God, we forgive you, and I'm sorry for ever slandering you," because he does things. If he was in a good team, he would be that engine like a Jordan Henderson.
What I would say, where I would challenge you on that, is just that there was 3 times today where he gave the ball away 30 yards out in front of your box, and they led to attacks. That's where for me, that's where he lets himself down. That, and he gives away too many cheap fouls. That's the problem with him. That, for me, I don't think there's an issue with his passing. I'm not going to say he's Paul Scholes or Xavi. I'm not going to say that. But for me, it's those mistakes. There was a moment where he gave the ball away near the end, and McGoldrick did a really good Cruyff turn. He plays it into McBurney. That was one of 3 times where he gave the ball away in those dangerous positions. That's where Granit Xhaka, for me, would frustrate me as an Arsenal fan. And by the way, That's the one thing about Fred in the Man United team that gets on my nerves. He loses the ball in exactly the same places that Xhaka does on many occasions. And that's the problem, because if you were playing a more potent team today, you would have conceded on at least one of those balls being given away. So I think for me, you can still improve on Granit Xhaka. I still think there are better football players out there than him. But in the short term, maybe you can build a little bit around him.
Look at who's playing next to him though. Danny Ceballos, you got Willock. Torreira hasn't featured in a while. You have to look at who's playing next to him, because if he had, for example, a Fabinho or like just a solid midfielder next to him, he could play like a Jorginho role with a Conte next to him. He could play like a Henderson role with a Gini and a Fabinho beside him. Even like at Manchester United, you have guys like Bruno they're going forward, and they have guys next to them that can kind of do more of the defensive work. I'm saying Granit Xhaka is being asked to do too much defensive work, and if he was given more freedom to be just a register and dictate the play, we would actually praise him more. He's being asked to do too much, and he's not mobile enough. We get that, but the criticism on him is sometimes unfair, and he's getting scapegoated too many times.
Look, for me, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I don't think he could be a Jorginho. I don't think he has the subtlety. I don't think he has the passing range. I don't think he has the ability to dictate the pace of a game. I don't think Xhaka has that at all. Because you just a minute ago said he could be your Henderson. Henderson isn't a Jorginho either. He can't play that role. You know, he can't do what Michael Carrick did. He can't do that for me. What he can be is a good solid midfielder in the middle that helps you. But he would need top quality around him. So maybe that could work. But let's see what you do. We had a super chat here from Zane I want to touch on. He says, Pepe, future Ballon d'Or winner. It's only his first season. He's done more than Pogba in 4 years, the 4 years that he's been here. Again, we know that's a bit of slander at the end there from Zane. How impressed were you with Pepe today?
All competitions, he has eight goals and 8 assists, 16 goal involvements. To me, with how many games left, that has been a decent season. Guys have gotten on his back too much. Pepe was good today, and it just goes to show you that Ainsley Maitland-Niles in the system that we did today, he was able to connect with the right wing back easier than he was when we were playing with the back 4. So maybe going forward, we might play more of a back 3, because it seemed like we had the balance on both sides. As you said, we attacked from the right at times, we attacked from the left at times, and this is better than what we've seen against Brighton and Southampton.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Sorry, I just clicked something there by mistake. I hear you on that. I think with Pepe, he does need time. I get the criticism of him this year. The goals and the assists are great. There are a lot of games. You think back to the Brighton game, he scored a worldy goal, but he had an absolutely anonymous performance. And I think you have to get the combination of the two. It's interesting, really, because yesterday I would look at, say, Bruno in the Man United team. Worst game he's had for us. But he was involved. He was there and involved. And they say worst game. He still created 5 chances in the game. He still figured. It was his pass that led to a red card that really helped us win the game in the end of it. I think what Pepe needs to do, even when he's having an off day, he still needs to be involved. And I think that's a mentality aspect that Arteta needs to drill into these players. I think Arsenal, and obviously the king of this is Ozil. Arsenal have had this mentality banged into them for years now of when things are going against us, we shy away from stepping up to the challenge. And I think that's a mentality that needs to be installed into Arsenal if they are to move up the levels. Quality of play is important, but mentality has got to be right.
Listen, Ozil is not even a squad player anymore. Get him out. He's not even a squad player. He cannot factor into the team. He's been more of a nuisance to the manager, having to discuss why he's in the squad. Today, Arsenal Twitter announced that Ozil won't be even featuring because he didn't feature yesterday in training, to help Arteta not have to deal with those questions again. To me, he's a nuisance. He's not even a squad player anymore. He has to go. Talent-wise, he's still good, but he cannot feature in the club if these issues are going to continue on. To me, the club needs to move him on. His wages are too much. He's not featuring. He hasn't played too many games this season. And to me, a Joe Willock has done more this season, and it just goes to show you where Ozil stands in the squad.
Mate, thanks for coming on, bro. Speak to you again soon. Take care, mate. Thank you.
Peace out.